Hi friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name's Michelle and I'm a freelance content creator and an avid Notion user, as you can see by my laptop screen behind me. And today I'm finally going to be sharing my 2023 Notion setup so that you can take your Notion from this to this and this and this. I'll give you a tour and a little tutorial to show you how I set up all of my pages. And if you don't know, Notion is a tool that's really powerful at helping you organize so many different parts of your life. You can use it personally with a team of people. I just use it for my own personal use. It's also free to use, so everything that I used in my template is also going to be free for you to use. So without further ado, let's get into the tour. Alright, so here's my homepage. This is the page that just houses all of my other pages, as you can see at the bottom here. So it has the same format as my last year's template. This year I went with kind of like a greenish theme. There's lots of green and brown tones throughout this year's template. And all of the images that I used throughout my template is from Pinterest. I just look on Pinterest, grab any images that catch my eye, and I do have a Pinterest board where I saved all of the images that I used throughout this template. So if you want to see the board and check out all the photos on Pinterest, I'll leave the board linked in the description box as well. So I first have my daily column. These are all things that I use on a daily basis. So my agenda, content planner, habit tracker, and journal. Then I have a life section. So here I have more long-term life things like goals, my monthly reflections, a travel planner, and a watch list for like movies and shows. And then the last column is for personal items. So just like notes, a shopping list, recipes, and a language hub because I'm trying to learn a language. So these are all the pages that I have throughout this template that you will also get if you duplicate this template, and I'll walk you through each of the pages and show you how I would use all of these pages. So let's first go into my agenda. So here's what the agenda looks like this year, very similar to all of my previous years. Even my like cover photos that I have at the top here, those are all found on Pinterest as well, and this one I actually linked at the bottom here if you wanted to find it. So starting from the top, we have a little weather widget. I live in San Francisco, so if you duplicated this template, you would actually need to remake this weather widget. And at the bottom, I have a small little instructions guide here. So in order to create the widget, I used weatherwidget.io. And then after you create the widget, you have to take the code and put it into aption.co to get a different code to embed the widget into Notion. It sounds confusing, but I have a little tutorial on how to do this in this video here. So this video will be linked in the description box. So check that out at the end of this video if you want to see how to create your own weather widget. So below that is the new week button, and this is a button that you can just press whenever you want to make a new week agenda. So I use my agenda week by week. So at the end of the week, everything will be filled out, and then it'll be time for me to make the new week's agenda. But instead of copying all of this, you can just press this button, open the toggle, and a new week is ready to be filled out. All you need to do is change the header here. This is a button that I configured myself. You can edit it in this little gear icon. Tap that, open the toggle, and then if you want to make any changes to the button, you can do that here. Change any of the colors, change the little calendar, add any recurring weekly tasks that you have so that it'll automatically show every time you create a new week. And then once you're done, you can just hit close, then the button's ready to be used. So if I were making this for this week, today is the 27th, this is the 4th week of the year, so I would say week 4, and then change this to January 23rd through the 29th. I formatted it so that my weeks start on Mondays. I also created this little mini calendar widget from this link here, widgetbox.app. You can customize the widget. I think you can customize the color, maybe even the font, I think the roundness of the edges as well. And then how I use my agenda is I have each day split up by this divider. So usually at the top, I'll put my priority tasks, like my top 3 things that I need to get done for the day will go at the top. And then below the divider, I'll put whatever other little tasks I need to do that day as well. So today's Friday, the 27th. So for example, I need to film my Notion video today. So I'll just put film Notion video. That is the main thing I need to do today. And then after this, I also need to edit the video. So edit Notion video as well. And then later I also need to do the laundry, so that's a more minor task. So I'll just put laundry at the bottom. And then after I complete a task throughout the day, I'll just check it off like that. But if there's anything that I didn't get to that day, I can just grab it and move it over to the next day. And then on Sunday, once the week is over and I'm getting ready for the following week, what I do is close the toggle, drag that week into the archive, and then tap the button to create a new week. Then I'll just update the header and the new week is ready to be filled in. So the archive is really just a place to store all of your previous weeks. So I dropped in this week's agenda here, and if I ever need to go back and look at anything that I wrote in any previous weeks, they'll all be in the archive. So back on the main page, underneath the weekly to-dos, I have a list for weekly tasks. So if there's anything that you don't want to forget about that's like something that you do weekly, like maybe you have a weekly workout class, or even just like doing laundry every week, you can make a list of it here so that you don't forget any of those things. The next week column is for any tasks that you know that you have coming up, but you don't need to do them this week. You can just add them here so you don't forget about it. So let's say next week I'm getting lunch with a friend on Saturday and I don't want to forget about it. I'll say lunch with friend. And then next week, once I'm making my agenda for that week, I can drag and drop this into Saturday. That way I'll remember that I have lunch with a friend that day. And the same concept goes for next month as well. If you have anything coming up the following month that you don't want to forget about, you can just add them here. So that is my agenda. This has been my system for the last 2 years now, and it has helped me immensely in staying organized and staying on track. Now let's move on to my content planner. So like I mentioned, I am a freelance content creator, so I work with a lot of brands to help them create content, but I do also create content for myself. Like I have a YouTube channel that you're watching right now, and this content planner is mainly for myself. This is like my personal content planner. I have a different system for all of my freelance work, but for my own personal channels, my YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, this is where I'll plan all of my content for those platforms. So on the left-hand side here, I have a section for links. So these are linked to all of my personal platforms. So I have my YouTube channel, my Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and Twitter, and I just added a link to each of these. So in order to create this, I literally just typed out YouTube, double-clicked it, added a link, and typed out my YouTube URL, hit enter, and now it's a link that will take you directly to YouTube if you click on it. So that's what I did for all of these, so you can do that as well if you have any other different platforms. Maybe you have like Twitch, Facebook, or if you need to edit it, you can hover your mouse and click edit the URL to whatever your channel is, and it'll update to your link. And then below that, I just have a little section for brain dumps. I tend to have a lot of things going on in my brain that I just need to get out on paper, so that's what this little section is for. Extra clips are if I have any extra footage that I haven't used yet and I want to remember that I have it, I'll add them here. And actually, I would rather this be a bullet list instead of a toggle. And then platforms, this is very personal to me, but I applied to some platforms that help content creators find like brand deals and things like that. So I have them all listed under this little toggle. You can change this to something else if this doesn't apply to you, or just delete it completely. But this is just for my own sake. And then to the right is the master content calendar. So this is a database in a calendar view that shows all of the different projects that I have going on for all of my platforms. So any projects that I have for YouTube, maybe I'm in the process of filming, or for TikTok, I have an idea that I want to film, or for shorts, I have something that I've already edited that's ready to be posted. That way I can see visually when things are gonna go live. You can of course click into any of these projects as well. I just have these as examples. So this is an example for a YouTube video. So these are all the little status checkpoints that I created. You can also edit each of these by pressing the 3 dots and just easily editing the title and the color as well. And then below is just like a template to help me with the process of creating YouTube videos. I basically took this template from Thomas Frank's video. He had a video a couple years back about his YouTube editing process, and he had a really great template, so I basically just used his and made tiny little tweaks to it. So you have a section for title ideas, thumbnail ideas, any research and notes. You have a toggle for a script if you do use scripts, a B-roll list, an editing checklist, a publishing checklist, as well as a post-publishing checklist. So these I've edited to fit my needs, but you can of course go ahead and edit any of the checkboxes as you see fit for yourself. Then for my second example, we have a TikTok video. So I don't always plan out my TikTok videos like this. Sometimes TikToks are so quick that I just film them without much planning. But if I do have a TikTok that requires a bit more planning, then here's where I'll do that planning. So we have caption ideas, thumbnail ideas, research and notes as well, and then other sections for script, b-roll, editing checklist, and publishing checklist as well. And then my third example is for shorts, YouTube shorts. I'm trying to get more into them and post more on YouTube shorts, and for that I would just use the same template that I used for TikTok. So now below the master content calendar, I have a little tracker for all of my clients and collaborations. So if you are also a content creator and you work with a lot of different brands, this is just a way for you to track who you worked with and what the project was. So maybe you've worked with a bunch of different brands, a bunch of different clients. You can put whatever their name was here, set the status of the project, like maybe you've already completed it, or maybe it's something that you're currently working on, or something that you've already agreed to that you have coming up but you haven't started it yet. Tags is just for me to know whether this was for my freelance business or if I was working for them in an influencer capacity. And then what type of project was this? Was this a paid collaboration or was this only gifted? What platform was used for this project? Was it just TikTok, YouTube, Instagram? You can go ahead and add other platforms on here as well. Like maybe you did something for Pinterest. Payment, if you got paid for this, how much did you get paid? Deliverable, what did you actually have to do for this collaboration? What category was this brand? These are some that I have already. And then what date did you work with them? You can set only a one-time date, or maybe it was a range. I also have it sorted by status. So anything that hasn't been started yet will be at the top. Anything ongoing will be right underneath, and then whatever is done already is going to be at the bottom. I also have it sorted by tags so that it's grouped together. You can't really tell in this example since I only have one of each type, but if you wanted to change this up, or you wanted to delete one or add one, you can do that here. Or if you wanted to add a filter as well, you can do that. So let's say you only want to see projects that you haven't started yet. You can just set the filter and it'll show you all the projects that you haven't started yet. Same thing if you want to see all the ones that are already done, you can just check that box and then you'll see all of the projects that you've already completed. And then to see everything else again, just clear the selection and you have all your projects listed out. So moving on from that, we have a project tracker. So I have one here for YouTube, and then further down, I have one just for TikTok. I don't have one for Instagram since I don't really plan content for Instagram, but for YouTube and TikTok, I have a section for ideas and a section for a calendar. I really like to see things as a list and as a calendar view because I'm also a very visual person. So I like having both options here. And these two databases, actually these four databases, this table, this calendar, this table, and this calendar are all connected to the master content calendar. They're all connected to each other because they are linked databases. I went over this in my previous video as well if you want to learn more about linked databases, but it's exactly what it sounds like. The databases are all linked. So any changes that you make to an event in one database will be reflected in the other databases that it's linked to. So back in the YouTube project tracker section, we have some example video ideas. We have the live date, what day do you want to publish it, the status of the video, and the platform. So we can open up each project. This one I already have the template loaded up, but in example 3, I don't have anything here yet. So if I did want to add a template, I'll just click new template and we have the template right here. You can edit this template as well. Let me close this and show you how by going to this down arrow here. and here's where you'll find all of the templates for this database. But you'll click the three dots and click edit, and here's where you can go in and edit this template to whatever fits your needs. You can add a new property, change the existing properties, change all of these sections. All of this is editable, and then it'll automatically save when you go back. And let's say you have another video idea. Let's just say video 1. You can open up this project, set the live date. Let's say you want to post this on February 1st. The platform is YouTube, and the status is it's still an idea. You're still thinking about it, but you want to start kind of planning it out. So you can go here and click on the YouTube template, fill out what is the goal of the video, any title ideas, thumbnail ideas, research and notes, start filling out the script, start planning all your B-roll. You can do all of that right here. And then because I added a new project here, it's gonna show up in the calendar. So this wasn't here before, but because this calendar is linked to this table, it shows up here now. And because this calendar is also linked to the master calendar, it's also gonna show up in the master calendar. And that's why it's so cool that all of these are linked, because like I said, one change that you make to one database will show up in the other databases. But I also made it so that whatever you change for YouTube won't be reflected in the TikTok project tracker. So as you can see, that YouTube idea doesn't show up in the TikTok calendar because I filtered it that way. So the TikTok project tracker works the exact same as the YouTube tracker that I just showed you, but it only shows you things for TikTok. And that's because there is a filter added where it only shows you projects where the platform is for TikTok. So yeah, I love using the databases, and I also love using the filters and the sort functions. So let's go back to YouTube. Let's say for this one, let's say I already uploaded it. Maybe I don't want to see any projects that I've already uploaded because it's like, I already uploaded them, I don't have to think about them anymore. You can go to filter, add a filter, and set it so that the status is only showing projects that you have yet to upload. So you can check all of these statuses, and now it'll only show you things that you still have to work on. Or maybe you only want to see things that you still have to edit. Just uncheck all of the other statuses, and now you'll only see the projects that you have to edit. But if you want to get rid of this filter completely, just go here and tap delete filter, and now you'll be able to see all of your projects again. And that's the content planner. It helps me so much with my workflow in planning out content. So let's move on to the habit tracker. So here's what the habit tracker page looks like. At the top, we have an ideal daily routine section. You can change these to whatever hours and minutes that you need. But this is a section to kind of list out what your ideal routine would be. I feel like having a routine is really important, and it helps me a lot, especially since I kind of work from home and I basically make my own schedule. Having a routine every day is super important to help me feel like I have some structure in my day. If that resonates with you as well, you can list out all of the different things that you want to make sure that you accomplish throughout the day. So that's why I have this little section, and I also just added a few photos on the side here. In my previous habit tracker pages, it was just the tracker itself, and I never found myself wanting to go to that page. Like, it was just so boring. So I wanted to add a few more photos today, make it a bit more fun, and make it more enticing to visit this page. And if we scroll down, we have the actual tracker portion. So I like to set my trackers by month, and it goes by day. You can go in and rename all of the habits, and then as each day goes by, you'll just check off whether you did the habit or not. You can also click the plus sign here and add another habit, or if it's too many, then you can always delete it. And then once this month is done and all filled out and you want to create a new tracker for the new month, you just need to press this new month button, and then it'll pop up with a new tracker. All you gotta do is rename it. Let's say you're creating a new tracker for February. February this year only has 28 days, so you can just delete the extra days, and then it should be ready to fill out. And then with the old month, you can just collapse the toggle, click the 6 dots, and drag it into the archive. And then in the archive is where all the old months will live. But back on the main page, if you want to change all of the habits here, I'd recommend configuring the template and changing all the different habits here. So let's say you want to track working out, meditating, your water drinking habits, any medications, and maybe that's all you want. You can make the edits here, close the configuration, and then when you click new month, it'll all be filled out already, ready for you to use. So that's how to use the habit tracker. Now let's go on to the journal. So I don't use my journal every single day, but I do use it during those days where I just have a lot of thoughts going on in my head and I just need to get them out. So here's an example entry. I usually just put whatever today's date is. So today, for example, is the 27th. So this would be the title for this journal entry. And then I do have a few templates. So if you know of the 5-minute journal, I actually took their prompts and created a template based off of those prompts. So if you were to click this template, this is all based off of the 5-minute journal prompts. But then I also have a personal prompt. I can't remember where I got this from, but it's just a very simple prompt. Sometimes I'm feeling a certain way, like maybe I'm feeling overwhelmed or I'm like sad or annoyed or something. I'll say what I'm feeling at the moment. I'll kind of dissect why I'm feeling this way. And then I'll also make like an action item for myself. Like, because I'm feeling this way, I'm going to blah, blah, blah. Like channeling whatever emotion I'm feeling and using it in a more like productive way. Or you don't even need to use any of those templates. You can just start with a blank page and just start writing whatever you want. Just brain dump, word vomit, because sometimes that's all we really need. Now moving on to my goals page, here is an overview of what it looks like. Starting with the cover photo, I actually created this collage myself and I use a website called moodser.com. My friend introduced me to it, but it's basically a website where you can create mood boards, vision boards, whatever you want to call them. And I of course collected all of the images from Pinterest, and Moodser is great because you can just drop in the images, size them. It's also free. I think you get one board for free. So I just used it to create this cover photo and I love the way it turned out. And then scrolling down, I really only have 4 sections for goals that I'm keeping track of this year. I think I used to have like 6 or more, but these are really the main 4 categories that I'm focusing on this year: health, my career, my personal growth, and financial goals. And under each of these columns is where I will list out all of those goals. So here's what my actual goals page, like my personal goals page, looks like. I have a bunch of bullet points and then a bunch of sub bullets as well, because like I said, I'm trying to be very specific. I'm trying to do SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound goals. And of course you can modify these categories to whatever you're trying to track. If you did want to change one, all you have to do is click into it. Maybe you want to focus on maybe some mental health goals. All you have to do is just type it in, but just be aware that any spaces won't really show. So what you can do is add this symbol and that will show up as a space. That's because this text is formatted as an equation, as you can see here. But if you did want to add a category, the easiest way to do that is to select the entire row, then hold Option while you drag it down to the next row, let go of the mouse, and then you can just rename it. And that's how you can make a new category. Then moving down, I have this table for quarterly goals, and my friend talked about how she breaks up her goals into quarterly goals to make her goals more attainable. I thought it was a good idea, so I created a table to kind of go off of that. For me, one of my goals is to exercise 3 times a week, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for at least 45 minutes a day. And I'll actually have this for every quarter, so I'm gonna duplicate this 4 times for each quarter. You can change it for each quarter, as well as change the tags. Then I'm just gonna copy and paste the tags. And then another goal that I have is to post 4 YouTube videos per month. So again, I'm gonna duplicate that for each quarter, change the quarters, update the tags, and I can even sort it by quarter. Now you can see that each goal is sorted by quarter. So I would say to kind of look at your goals that you listed out here and see how you can break them down into quarterly goals. And then whenever you've completed that goal, you can just check it off here. Then at the bottom here, I just have a bucket list. I used to have this as a separate page, but I just decided to put it under my goals page. So you can just list out all of the things that you want to do on your bucket list. And then the last thing on this page is a little then versus now section where you can kind of draw a picture of what your life looks like right now so that you can read this back at the end of the year to see how much you've progressed. Put the date that you're filling this out, and then for each category that you're tracking, kind of just type out what your life looks like. That way it's kind of like a time capsule. You can see like how things were going for you at the start of the year, and then you can look at all of the things that you accomplished throughout the year and see like, wow, things really changed. Now onto my monthly reflections page. I've been doing this for the past 2 years, and it's been so much fun to look back on all of my months after filling them all out. So this is basically just a little template that I found somewhere that I adapted. I can truly just sit down and reflect on how that month went, what was one word or phrase to describe this month, what were some memorable moments, things that I learned, things that I want to improve on, and then another little section to just like journal and just talk more about things that happened in the previous month. I feel like as I get older, I remember things less. So this is just a way for me to kind of remember all of the little moments, big or small, that happened throughout the months. Next up is my travel planner. So I did quite a bit of traveling last year, so I didn't plan out any of my smaller trips, but for my 3 bigger trips, I do have them listed out here, and I use those as examples for this template. So you can see all the different templates that I have here. So I have one template that helps you plan by location, one template that helps you plan by day, and one template that is just super simple if it's like a smaller trip, but you still want something simple to help you plan. So let's look at the first example. Let's say for destination 1, you're going on a pretty big trip. You're going to multiple locations. This would kind of be the template for that. So over the summer last year, I went to Europe and we went to 4 different countries. So I would say Europe summer vacation, and then I'll set the dates of our trip. And then I'll also add in a photo of our destination. That way this photo will also show up when you view the gallery here. You can also delete these little call out boxes. That's just to help you guys. And then I also have a little countdown widget. I used indify.co to create this countdown widget. You can customize the color, font, the title, all of that. Then scrolling down, here's what this planner looks like. So we have a section for flights, your itinerary, ideas and things to do, your to-do list, and then a food list. Food is very important, so it definitely deserves its own list, especially if you're like me and my friends and we love to eat and try new restaurants. So for flights, we had a bunch of different flights, so you can list all of your flight information here. Then for the itinerary, like I said, I have this one set up by location. So I would recommend you going in and editing each of these locations. We went to London, Paris, Rome, and Santorini. So like for example, that's what I would do. You can also set the date that you're gonna be in each location. So let's say the 27th for London, but you can also duplicate each row for each day that you're gonna be there. So let's say you're spending 3 days in London, 2 days in Paris or something like that. And then duplicate the row again for a new time for a new activity. Let's say at 11 a.m. you have plans to go sightsee. You can add in any notes about those activities. If you have to book anything, like make any reservations, that's what these checkboxes are for. And you can also add in any COVID information. I feel like most places are pretty open right now, but if there is any important COVID information that you need to be aware of, you can add it in this column. So this is how I would use this database. And then moving on, we have a list of ideas and things to do by location. So again, I would change all of these titles to whatever location that you're going to, and then any ideas that you have to do at those locations, you can add them all here. And then I also have a to-do list board. So any tasks that you have to do in order to plan for your trip, like any flights that you need to book, hotels, reservations that need to be made. And then of course the food board, you can change the locations again, add in the name of the restaurant, what type of cuisine do they serve, what meals do they serve, breakfast, lunch, dinner, what are their hours, and what are some popular dishes that you guys want to try. Now for the second template example, this one has the itinerary sorted by day. So maybe you're only going to one location, but you're going to be there for a few days. This would be the template for you. So I would go in and change the titles to all the days that you're going to be there. And then the rest is the same as the other itinerary. You can also filter it so that maybe you only want to see things that you're doing on the first day that you're there. Just uncheck all the other days and now you'll see all the activities for only that day. You can also do this on your mobile app as well, because you know when you're traveling you might not have your computer, but you should use the Notion app, and then you can also use the filters on your phone, so it's really convenient for on the go. And then further down we have another list of ideas and things to do, a to-do list board, and a food table as well. And the last template that I have is the simple template. So I went back home to Hawaii over the holidays and I wasn't doing too much every single day. I kind of only had one activity planned for each day that I was there. But you know, now that I'm looking at this, I realize this is pretty much the same format as the previous template I just showed you, the template that goes by day, because this is also going by day. So you know what, I think I'm gonna delete this template and only have the planner by location and then a planner by day. Yeah, it's basically the same thing. Ideas and things to do, to-do list. It's just a little bit more simplified, but you really could just use the other template. So this one's feeling a bit redundant. So that is my travel planner. Hopefully it helps if you are also planning some big trips this year. So next up is my watch list, and this is just a list of all the movies and shows that I've watched. So first we have the name, or like the title, I guess would be a more appropriate category. So here's where you would put the title of the show, the status, like are you watching it currently? Is it something to be watched? Or is it something that you've already watched? What is the genre? These are all the genres that I have right now. How would you rate it? So I have all of the different star ratings from 1 to 5 stars. When did you watch it? And on what platform did you watch it? I also have it sorted by status, so anything that you're currently watching will be at the top, whatever you've already watched will be at the bottom, and then also by title, so it's in alphabetical order. You can also add filters, so maybe you only want to see movies or shows that you rated 5 stars, or maybe you want to go by genre. You can also filter by type. You can even add filters or remove any filters too if you want. It's pretty straightforward, but yeah, that is my watch list. Alright, so moving on to my notes page. This one is very self-explanatory. It's just for notes. If you have any ideas in your head that you need to just like jot down, this is what that is for. There's really nothing much to this page, just any notes that you want to create. You can create a new note here, write your notes down, notes, and that's really it. You can go in and add any tags or any properties to the notes if you want to, but I just kept this page super duper simple. And then next we have my shopping list. I use this a lot whenever I go out to get groceries every week. So usually I like to stop by a market, either like Trader Joe's, Whole Foods, or something like that. I'll usually have a full list of items already here. Then we also like to go to Costco, so usually here's where I'll put Costco, and then I'll have a list for Costco as well. But then I also have another column for miscellaneous things that I want to grab that aren't like food related. So a lot of times I'll have a list for Target or Daiso. And then we have my recipes page. So I really like this one because of the super cute animation here in the cover page. Again, I found this on Pinterest. But here's where I have a list of all the different recipes that I want to remember. So I have different categories for breakfast, lunch, dinner, a side, snacks, or desserts. I do have a new recipe template as well. Let's say you want to make a recipe for a strawberry banana smoothie. That I guess you can categorize as breakfast, maybe a snack, and then you can use my new recipe template. And the template is literally just a column for ingredients and then another column for instructions. And finally, we have my language hub. If you're learning a language, then maybe this will come in handy for you. I do know a bit of Japanese already, but I'm trying to improve my Japanese. And this is just a table that I made to help me remember any new vocabulary words that I'm learning. My vocabulary is very limited, so I created this to hopefully help me keep track of all the new vocab that I learned so that I can use it more in my speaking. And that is all the pages in my 2023 Notion workspace. If you want to download this template, it'll be free. All you have to do is click the link in my description box. It's gonna pop up like this, and then you'll just go to the top right corner click duplicate, and then it will duplicate my template to your workspace, and then it is yours. You are free to use it. You can tweak it and customize it however you please. Hopefully you guys enjoy it and it helps you stay organized. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, and let me know what you thought. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!